So, regards to your partner and your training and all the rest of it going on, like, does he train as well? Is he involved in the sport? Does he stay completely away from it? Is he like, what's your that sort of side of things like?
So he doesn't actually train in any sort of martial arts. He's a big fan of watching it, and he's into his boxing, MMA, wrestling, whatever it is, always has been. But he's more about gym, weightlifting, and a football. He's all about football. But he's a big supporter, so which is a big part of my story, that he's always believed in it. Has a lot of respect for fighters, does 100% see it as a career. And he says it to me every day. Me going to training is me going to work. This is my job. Where I've never really had that kind of support from anyone else, even people in my family. They don't understand it.
I mean, you hear these sort of the standard from the other way around, where the man's the one training, the girls they're reluctantly supporting. But again, you hear this sort of side of things, and I feel it's so underappreciated that this is a possibility. And again, the female athletes out there hearing this, who are sort of saying, "I can't find, the guys are X, Y, and Z. I'm trying to do my own thing." And again, you find somebody who actually supports you. And I, I'm going to ask a question on probably on the answer to, but how much of a difference has it made having someone in a relationship who actually gives a shit and supports you? How much better do you feel everything goes? Like, obviously,
100%. It's like it makes all the difference. So for someone like me, I do believe being with someone that doesn't do the same sport as you is a benefit. So I know some people see it as, oh, we can train together, we can be training buddies. I don't think it's healthy.
new.
At the end of the day, it is a competitive sport. It's an individual sport, but people will always compare. Oh, I know this better than you, or you do this, or I do this, or you'll always have arguments. Where this way we kind of keep it separate, and it helps in the sense that he's very understanding. Like, he's willing to do everything or and help me succeed in my career. So he's been with me to competitions. If I've had to travel to Europe to compete, he's been there with me. He's taken days off work. During my training camp, he's held pads, which the pandemic has helped a lot, because he ended up having to learn how to hold pads to help me train. On the weekends, he always holds pads for me, because it's one of the ways I like to get my practice in. And I do really think it is possible. People always see it as it's hard to find someone, but sometimes you can't make someone love what you do or respect what you do. It's just whether there are people that do and there are people that don't. And I think I got lucky that he does.
I mean, there's a thing in most recent Jordan Peterson book, Beyond Order. Everyone knows I bum up with Jordan Peterson a bit too much, but there we are. When it comes to relationships, maintaining them and building them, you don't get these perfect people as such. Again, it's the constant work and ongoing. Again, it sounds very fairy tale, but I can imagine it's not as straightforward as that. Again, you get all the conversations, the back and forth, this, that, and the other. And again, it's the build up. It's putting that work in, put that template in. Again, it's not for nothing, and it's not come from nothing. But again, that's why it is now something. And this is why this conversation, I think, is really prominent. And there's a few things in this I want to go into a bit further. And again, anything that you don't want to go into too much, we can, take out, but it's fine. So my first episode of the podcast, I had my friend Mickey on. He's a professional boxer. And the first thing he said to his girlfriend was, boxing comes first. First date, let him know, cards on the table. In your relationship, at what point was, okay, so, the weekends you like having together? Those open mats, the sparring session.
I never did a sport before I met him. So we've been together for a really long time. It's been like 8 years or more, probably. I lost count. I started doing sports when we were together. So he got to see me develop and evolve into this person that wants to go into this sport. And he even says, I guess for people listening, the reason why he backs me and believes in me and he's willing to make so many sacrifices is because he sees my dedication. He's seen there's days I've been in pain as a woman. We have tummy cramps. I get severe migraines. It could be anything. And he's seen me get out of bed, get up early and go to training. And I don't use those kind of excuses to find ways to not do it. So, and I guess that's the reason why he's a big supporter, is because of my determination to make this happen. And we've already set a plan that I'm going to give it my all. Bearing in mind, I left my job to do this. And he's going to have to support me.
Again, that's so important. Again, I like the way it wasn't already there, and that he sees you mature and develop. And again, when we say develop, for anyone who hasn't trained or had this sort of experience, the art of asking yourself very honest questions and answering them makes you grow up a lot quicker than you'd like to. And when it's a catalyst of MMA punching you in the face, you have to get some answers pretty quickly. And this is where you see people sort of, okay, I'm not made of glass, or I'm not as tough as I thought I was, but now I'm getting built up. Again, this very, very honest, very raw kind of personal development. And to see someone appreciate that from an outside perspective. And now this is where these sort of questions come from me, from on his behalf, of seeing your partner. Again, when you see it, the man beating up, and the woman's nurturing, it's all fine. But again, you see the other way. Like if I had a partner who came back from training beating up, I don't know how I'd feel about it. Like I have dated girls who've trained, and they probably beat me up. That's not the point. It's fairly instinctive of, okay, my partner is hurt, I want to look after him to protect them. It's a very, I don't know, it goes against nature. Not nature.
No, you're right. I
You know what I
agree.
mean? It's very.
I did ask him that question. Because I did wonder the same once. I was like, it is a bit weird. It's usually the other way around. But he's so invested, and it's quite funny because even when he's watched me compete or watch me have my first MMA debut in November, and he had to watch it in a pub through a screen, which was not exactly how we imagined it, but he really does get emotionally invested. And I like the fact that he doesn't treat me like a delicate petal or a flower, like, oh, I don't want you to get hurt, or maybe you shouldn't do this. He's actually very supportive, and he understands this is what's going to make me stronger. This is what's going to make me better. I come back hurt, I come back broken, I come back tired more than other days. He's happy to do the cooking and do the cleaning and just let me rest so I can recover for the next day, which this is the understanding we have.
And this is where the term relationship is really important, because again, it's a back and forth. And again, I'd imagine like when you're feeling a bit more life in you, you reciprocate, cook as well, do other bits and bobs. And again, it's a balance. It's understanding what is going on in the bigger picture. And this is where kudos to him for having that overall, I don't know, understanding of the situation. I think that's the biggest thing here. It's not just, oh, look at me, I'm just gonna roll over and do this. No, it's a back and forth thing. It's a building thing. And again, it takes a lot to earn that relationship and earn where you guys are now. And all the best for you with that. Now,